So you're probably saying to yourself that this summary information is very interesting, but it's not very exciting. It shows you some interest saved, total time saved, gives you some information that can help you, maybe motivate you to look into creating your own debt plan, but it's not really exciting. So in addition to the summary, we have some additional display options that will allow you to see some detail information to help you to customize your own debt plan. Those are in the View Amortization for drop-down list. In this list, we have a couple of options. We have the original payoff, the current payoff with roll-up, and the plan new payoff, or what if. The amortization and summary payoff information is displayed with the columns that you're already familiar with in the summary in mind. So if you want to see the detail information for the no roll-up option, so everything that's going to be in this column in the summary information will now be displayed when you click calculate, along with payoff information and the amortizations for each one of the debts with the no roll-up option. So we have the summary still, but now we have a payoff schedule for this debt plan. It starts off with when the first payment is going to be made and in the order that the payoff is going to be done. So in this case, this is highest interest rate. So it says payoff schedule for highest interest rate, priority, no roll-up. And here we see that Hardware Store Card has the current payment emphasis, and all of them have their first payment for this month being the first month that the payment's made. The last part of this listing shows the last payment that is made for each debt in order of payoff. It shows when they were paid off, the last payment amount, the total amount that was paid, the original principal, and the interest amount. Below the summary, we have an amortization schedule for each debt, again in the order that the debt plan put them in originally. So in this case, the Hardware Store Card had the highest interest rate, and so it was first in the list, and this is the amortization schedule for that card. So if we look at this, have some information at the top. It says payment schedule for Hardware Store Card at 18%, highest interest rate. The columns are the beginning balance, interest amount, minimum payment, additional payment, if any, and the ending balance and date for that month's payment. And then the last column is a month counter. So this one we see that the beginning balance was $4,500. The interest amount for the first payment was $67.50. The minimum payment was $90. If we go down to the bottom, we see the last payment was $8.32 on month 451, and then we have a total of $11,896.66 paid in interest and $16,396.66 in the total principal that is paid out, or the total payment that is paid out, not total principal. If we look at the last payment for the Hardware Store Card, we see that those values correspond here, where it was paid off October 1st, 2055, last payment of $8.20. The total is the totals at the bottom, and we have the principal amount and interest. Now we can look at the amortizations for each one of the debts. So we got the amortization for the major credit card, amortization for Department Store Card 2, and we notice that Department Store Card 1 was the first one that was paid off. If we click on that, we can see that it was paid off in 44 months. And we can see the amortization schedule for each one of these debts. So now we've seen the amortization and payoff schedule for the debt plan for highest interest rate with the no roll-up option. So let's go up here to the View Amortization for, and let's change this to Plan Current Payoff with Roll-Up. So we're going to click that. We're not going to change anything. We're going to leave the additional margin here at $20, and we're going to click Calculate. So we've looked at the summary before, and as we're probably going to expect. We have the highest interest rate first. We have the values that we saw before. Our payoff schedule looks similar to what we had with no roll-up. At least it starts off that way. The first part of it is exactly the same. However, now when we have a debt that is paid off, we see what happens to that payment amount in our payoff schedule. So in this listing, we see that the department store card 1 was paid off first on November 1st, 2021 with a last payment of $5.87 for a total of $650.87. The principal of $500, interest of $150.87. On that same month, there's some payment amount that was left over from that department store card, and we see the next line that amount, a one-time payment of $9.13 for the hardware store card, was paid on that same month, and it shows its new balance on that month. Now, the balance is the payment amount for the department store card minus its last payment. So $5.87 plus $9.13 should be the $15 that we were expecting to see here. So next, the hardware store card now has a new payment of $105 starting on December of 2021. So the next month, the following month after the department store card 1 was paid off, the total amount for the department store card payment is now rolled up into the hardware store card. So in our department store card 1, we have $15. Our hardware store card was $90. So the 15 plus 90, the hardware store card payment now is $105. If we look at the amortization schedule, we can see exactly what was happening here. So if we come down to the bottom and we look at department store card, we see that it was paid off in month 44, just like it was before. $5.80 was its last payment with 7 cents in interest. So $5.87 was the last payment that we noticed in our summary. $5.87. Now if we go to the hardware store card amortization schedule, since it was the first debt in our listing, this is again the order that the margin will be applied. We go down to month 44 and we see what's happening here. So on month 44, because the hardware store card had its payment first, it got its payment of $90 on month 44, but then it also got the balance of department store cards 1's payment, which was the $9.13. And then the following month, in December of 2021, in this example, we see that the entire amount of $15 was applied as an additional payment to the hardware store card. If we come back up to our payoff summary, we see that department store card 2 was the next one to be paid off in January of 2023. Last payment of $814, and it also was applied to the hardware store card because it has the payment emphasis. We go down to the department store card 2 amortization schedule. We see that it was paid off in month 58. So in month 58 of the hardware store card, we see that it made its payment for $15 plus the $90 that was originally there. It got an additional $6.86 on that same month, and then the next month its payment was the $90 plus an additional $30 in margin, because department store card 1 and department store card 2, their payment amounts equal the $30. And if we go through each one, we see this happening for each debt that gets paid off. So the car loan gets rolled up into the hardware store card. Then finally the hardware store card gets paid off, and then its payment gets rolled up into major credit card. So we can see that in the hardware store card, it gets paid off in month 66. Its last payment is $196.80 plus this $295 in interest. If we go to major credit card, which is the next debt, and we go down to month 66, we see an additional amount of $183.01 for that month. Then the next month it gets the full amount of $383.56, and that lasts for just a couple of months until month 72. In month 72, we see here that it gets paid off and gets rolled up into the minivan loan. So in the minivan loan, we go down to month 72, and it happens to get paid off about that same month. So it received a grand total of 34 cents, but the balance of that gets rolled up into the home mortgage. So now we go to home mortgage, go to month 72, and we see the difference in the payment for the minivan loan and the major credit card, and then its total gets applied the next month, in month 73. And this goes on until they are all paid off. So here we can see in month 181, that must have been the next debt on April 1st of 2033. Go back up to our summary, we can see that. April 1st of 2023, the home equity loan got paid off. Its last payment was this 55 cents, and then a one-time payment of $106.68 was put into the home mortgage, and then the new payment of $2,142.53 was applied to the home mortgage. So home equity loan was actually paid off first. Home mortgage was the last one to be paid off, and it gets paid off in month 206 in 5/1 of 2035. And if we look at our summary up here, 5/1 of 2035. If we go to the what if, we can see this applied in our amortization schedule. So the summary looks the same. Our payoff schedule is similar but has different values. The amortization schedule, if we look, hardware store card has the payment emphasis, and we look from the beginning, its additional payment is $20. So it has an additional $20 from the beginning, and it starts adding additional payments as debts get paid off. So here we can see how the detail information from the view amortization for, in this case, plan, new payoff, what if, gets us some information that can allow us to start to customize our own debt payoff.